Hello everyone, BullsareBlue back at it again with a brand new video, and today I got a re-upload for you. Now if you don't want to hear the explanation, here's a timestamp right here, but if you do, this is going to be kind of brief. So pretty much the video got blocked by WWE, and because of some of the content I use, I had to alternate some of the video, and also I did have to rework some of the audio that was used as well. So pretty much it is slightly altered, and I did hope that I improved it a little bit more so that way you guys could enjoy it. And if you're new around here and you come by in the regular, leave a like, subscribe, share with a friend, and let me know if you want me to continue these type of videos. I do have a couple ideas in the back of my head that could possibly be worked, or maybe have a couple other video essays that could be done. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Why I love professional wrestling.
Yes, sir, we promised you a great main event here tonight.
Nick Andre, the China WrestleMania!
I'm just a fucking team.
Yeah.
Back when I was a young boy, I grew up with the love for the good guy, over how they overcame the odds and always seemed to triumph even at the most dire situations. I grew up at a time where superheroes like Spider-Man, the Autobots from Transformers, Power Rangers, and even the OG Hulk, the 2006 version, were around. A bit odd, but you know, it works for me. But something pulled me in. Something made me look at things differently. And that's when I turned and tuned into Raw for the first time. It was a Sunday, which I know seems odd since it's called Monday Night Raw, but since I had regular TV, I didn't have access to cable for a while and kind of watched whatever was on TV. And on that Sunday afternoon was my first glimpse of Monday Night Raw. It was kind of vague, you know, the memory, but I knew for a fact it was John Cena. He had a match, and well, he did win, even though his opponent DQ'd with weapon usage. Yeah, I know, I said weapon usage. He used a weapon against them, and just when I thought somebody else was gonna go out to help him, they attacked him too. Keep in mind, right? For me, I went from a happy, cheerful, yes, he's gonna be saved, to, oh no. And if I'm honest, I was like 6 or 7. I didn't know any better. Spare me a little bit. But this was a moment that got me hooked onto WWE and the world of professional wrestling. As the years went on, I had many wrestlers to cheer for. Wrestlers and teams such as DX, The Undertaker, John Cena, the Hardy Boys, and quite frankly my favorite of the two, Jeff Hardy. To be honest, there was more wrestlers, but with being so far away in the past, I could only remember those. Also, it must be said that this was during the PG era of WWE. It was mostly catered to kids, as you could tell. It was simple, but for me being so young, it was good for my mind. Now, I will say, just like almost everybody, I did try some of the wrestling moves with stuffed animals and my brother, which, by the way, made sure he was okay every time. But I was a fan. I remembered when they came to my city. My dad had gotten us tickets when I was about 10 years old, and I finally got to see them live. And this was around the time where you could purchase a ticket early and you could get closer to the action. It was pretty good. And I got to see wrestlers like Chris Masters, Mark Henry, Sheamus, Evan Bourne, Kelly Kelly, Kofi Kingston, and none other than the man himself, John Cena. Obviously, I was excited, and I got to see all of them live. And on top of that, my sister, mom, and I got to high-five John Cena. Let me tell you, when you get to high-five and be in the presence of one of your favorite, I guess, heroes, quote-unquote, it made my head explode. We go, holy crap, I was so happy. It's almost like you achieved a dream. Obviously, I watched wrestling for a while after that, And while watching WWE, over time, I witnessed John Cena become a multi-time world champion and his intense rivalries with Randy Orton and Edge and the Nexus and DX. And I got to witness Jeff Hardy's journey from being a complete underdog in Daredevil to becoming a WWE champion and eventually having to leave WWE. I saw the Shield dominate as a trio. I witnessed the Undertaker's streak and the importance of it, and I saw when it ended. I played all the wrestling games, specifically from SVR and WWE 13, but no one around me was keeping up to date with it the way I was. For a while, it was just me keeping it alive, and the light was getting pretty low.
With schools, emotions, puberty, sports, etc., keeping me busy. But every once in a while, I would peek over to see what WWE was doing.
But it just seemed like WWE was at a stalemate, and everything was going downhill. So, because of that, I stopped watching wrestling for a while.
I focused on what was in front of me, and for a good while, a good couple of years, there wasn't that spark to watch WWE or catch up to it even. I had switched from Power Rangers and Transformers to Marvel and sports, specifically football. I remember playing Madden Mobile in the cafeteria with every one of my buddies. My mind's elsewhere, reading books, daydreaming, doing schoolwork, learning sports as well. And then one day in 2018, something happened. I saw a discounted copy of WWE 2K17, and I thought to myself, was this good? To be honest, my brother and I debated whether or not we got that or Mafia 3. My brother didn't see why get something like WWE. I mean, we hadn't paid attention to it in so long. Why bother with it? But something within me gravitated toward this, remembering all the good times I had played, from creating a wrestler to making finishers, entrances, and having my wrestler win the big one and defend it with my own story running through my head. The starting from the bottom, starting from the trenches, and rising to the top, rising to the occasion, becoming the greatest in the world, becoming like John Cena and many other wrestlers that grew in popularity within the WWE. And I played it so much, it brought me back. I love playing against all the wrestlers, making it harder on myself, challenging myself, and becoming that guy. It felt good, and it made a path back to watching WWE again. But it was just trickles, just drops of minuscule proportions. And quite frankly, it wasn't enough to drag me in. And by that point, my life was going on. I had a life going. I went to college for a bit. Then poof, pandemic came in. And obviously we don't need to talk about that. It was just gaps at this point where we couldn't go to concerts. We had to be cautious about where we were going. We couldn't really get out of our houses, but it did make me kind of wonder what type of person I should be, and that was myself. What did I like? What did I enjoy? What can I use my money on, since I was a working adult during this little periods of time? And I even restarted my channel. Which, by the way, you should probably like and subscribe. It would really help out a lot. We getting closer, baby, to our goal. Bought the day one PS5 edition I wanted, and made short-term future plans like the concerts, Comic-Con, and anime. That may be a video for another day, but wrestling was creeping around the corner. Oddly, WWE was there, but there was a new contender, AEW. And they both piqued my interest. With WWE, I saw the return of Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy, returning from years of not wrestling in WWE. But what caught me was Edge's return in 2020. This man had retired from injury in 2011, an injury that barred him from wrestling ever again. and I was sad when he had to retire. But when he came back, that Royal Rumble,
Who's it gonna be?
You think you know me?
No way.
he came back to the loudest pop of the year. I'm not gonna lie, my inner child was happy to see him back. Almost tears running down my face. But that's because I was happy to see him wrestle again. And AEW was a breath of fresh air, and actually seeing some of the wrestlers who didn't get a time to flourish. It would showcase many of the wrestlers who had an opportunity and weren't used properly, and introducing us to new people and elevating the company to new heights. You know, barring what's been going on recently. And also, I can't forget about NXT, specifically NXT Black and Gold, which many say carried the WWE for a couple years, even being considered the best show of WWE. If you don't believe me, check out some of these highlights.
Chewing the body of Paul. Taste of your own medicine. Revenge on champ. Ricochet from the take out. Right hand. Oh, but to the midset for his team. Oh, wait a second. Oh, man, I don't believe working. Oh. Here we go. And on cue.
So pretty much, NXT did carry much of WWE. I believe that, at least. After a little bit, I also finally got to go watch a show live. And let me tell you, it was an incredible showing. Now, keep in mind, I hadn't gone to an actual live wrestling show in like years. The last one I went to was one where my family members over there in Mexico were running a little promotion of their own. And quite frankly, it was super entertaining. You know, it was fun seeing all the luchadores go after one another, and it was a fun experience. I haven't had an experience that was, I guess, WWE level, and to have someone like AEW or a company like AEW come into town, it was a bit of a game changer, especially for my town. So obviously when I first heard the announcement, I ended up asking my friends. Oddly enough, Zeus was supposed to go on this trip, and he didn't, which is not surprising, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, Zeus, next time though, next time. And right after, I ended up asking my friend Daisy, which if you know, you've seen her in a couple of my videos, and I asked Mark as well, and they said yes. And I even invited my parents because I hadn't done anything with them in so long, or I felt like I haven't done anything with them in so long. I said, let's go have a night out, you know, and go watch some wrestling. Let me tell you, the excitement I had to watch a show like this was incredible. Now, obviously for me and Daisy, we're both a bit of wrestling fans, I'm not gonna lie. If she ever streams, or if you ever go to her channel, ask her, are you a wrestling fan? And she would say yes, more than likely. I would think so. But let me tell you, the anticipation for going to this show was high, you know, my scale at least. And finally, the day came when the show came into our town. And let me tell you, the anticipation for it all, it kept getting higher. And the aura of walking to the arena to go watch the show was even greater. I mean, there's all of these wrestling fans in the town, and it was an incredible feeling that I hadn't felt or seen in such a long time. Like, obviously, it's the same thing when you have a very passionate fan base for something, you feel it, and this was one of those moments. And when we finally entered the arena, oh man, you could feel the excitement in the air. You could feel everybody anticipating this show. It could almost be said that you could grasp the aura itself, the atmosphere, the gravity of it all. You could feel it in your face, and it was full of wrestling fans. It was the first time in a long time where we had a show of this caliber, a live televised show. It was a whole different aura. It was a whole different feeling. And I know I keep emphasizing that word aura, but it just carried so much weight. But it all started off with one MJF versus Takeshita. Now, forgive me if I didn't say his first name. I didn't want to butcher it, so forgive me. But there was a lot of action in this fight. There was a lot of things that went on in this match. And quite frankly, I had never seen... I think I had, at this point, I had only heard of Takeshita. And MJF, well, I mean, I've been seeing him for TV. He's been a heel. Like, he's a heel. And, well, also I gotta let you know, at the time of the recording, he is still currently the AEW champion. And let me tell you, MJF, he's kick-ass, I'm not gonna lie. He was pretty funny. And he was a good heel. The match result for that one was that MJF won. You know, no surprise there. The heel was gonna win. And then we finally got to see Bryan Danielson, which, if you didn't know, MJF and Bryan Danielson, also known as Daniel Bryan, were both feuding with each other for the AEW title. And a bit of a prelude, but there was going to be a match with Bryan Danielson later that night. After that match, we had a match with Ricky Starks versus what they dubbed the Garcia Guevara Gauntlet, which I think if Ricky won, he would get a match against Chris Jericho. Now, here's the thing. Ricky was running it pretty well. Ricky was actually doing his very best to actually defeat this gauntlet. And then a fan attacked him, which was a bit crazy. And then I thought, oh, wait, this is got to be someone from the group, right? And, yep, turned out it was Chris Jericho, which, well, obviously, Chris Jericho got the dub over fucking that guy, but... we move forward to what I dubbed the match of the night, and that was Bryan Danielson versus Rouge. And let me tell you, this was action from beginning to end. I mean, you had it where at the beginning, Bryan Danielson, I keep messing up the name. We had it where Bryan Danielson himself was locked in a room. And let me tell you what was at stake for this match. If Daniel Bryan managed to beat Rouge, which, by the way, he's a very big wrestling star as we speak. I mean, he was part of the Los Ingobernables de Japón. Again, sorry if I butchered that. But they're a heel New Japan stable, New Japan Pro Wrestling stable. And let me tell you, he is intense as fuck. No joke. And, well, obviously, since Daniel Bryan was locked in that room, he practically had to get into the ring, because what was at stake was an opportunity to face MJF for the title. And if Bryan Danielson lost, then there was no chance. So the rest started counting. Daniel Bryan managed to get out, and he actually made it to the ring. And that's when it all started to go fucking insane. I mean, let me tell you, everybody was on their feet. Everybody was watching as both of these men were exchanging chest chops, slaps, kicks, headbutts. I mean, you had Bryan literally splat blood on the camera. And let me tell you, the crowd was on fire. Now, they had been on fire earlier, but this was a different type of excitement coming from someone like my town. We had loved every moment. I mean, shit. We were Mexicans. We're all Mexicans. We were chanting C's and no's every time when these two were exchanging fists. And it just made it so much better. With each passing second, it got better. And obviously, Bryan Danielson got the dub and then got attacked by MJF. And again, mad respect to both Rouge and Bryan, because they put in an amazing show. And I ain't gonna lie, I would have wanted them to see them again. Now, obviously, we had other matches like the Elite versus Top Flight, which, by the way, the sheer star power itself was incredible. I mean, if you don't know, the Elite consisted of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Now, the Young Bucks are kind of a expert tag team, but Kenny Omega was considered at one point, or still kind of considered, one of the best professional wrestlers in the world. I mean, if you ever see any of his stuff, it's insane. Now, obviously, like I said, the match, maybe the match didn't live up to the expectations that I had,
but it was still a good match. I mean, you got to give it to the to Top Flight, because those guys, they were acrobatic. They were super acrobatic. Like, whatever they were doing, they were just kicking ass and whatever they did. And even though they came up short, still pretty good. We had the main event of the Acclaimed versus the Guns. Now, this was the main event for the night, and by God, was it the most memorable for both the right and wrong reasons. Or maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but pretty much the whole shtick of the show was that it was Champions Night, so a lot of championships were practically on the line. And part of this was that the AEW Tag Team Champions were on the line. So we had the Acclaimed, who were the current AEW Tag Champions, and then you had the Guns, who, if you didn't know, the Guns were the sons of Billy Gunn. The Acclaimed were the good guys, the Guns were the heels. And obviously, the Acclaim came down, they made their raps, and let me tell you, fucking Max Caster could spit some bars, I won't lie. And as the match began, there was a lot of back and forth. Now, I wish I could remember everything in detail, because I want to be more descriptive, but I don't want to make this whole section too long, because it's already running at 12 minutes as of me recording this. But it was that match where everybody was shocked. Now, if you don't know the results, Billy Gunn was trying to show his allegiance to the Acclaim. Now, again, I'll preface that it kind of had to have been a little bit difficult to choose between the Acclaimed and his sons. And guess what? Billy stopped his kid from using the belt against the Acclaimed. And while this was happening, the ref was knocked out, and one of the belts ended up outside. So, Bowen, he was on the receiving end trying to wake up the referee, and bam, one of the Guns hit him with the belt. And then 1, 2, 3, the Guns won the match, and the Acclaim lost their titles. And let me tell you, the crowd was shocked, and I was too, because I didn't expect the Acclaim to lose their titles. You could hear the silence in the arena from that moment. The whole crowd, including myself, thought that it was bullshit that the Acclaim lost. But I will say, it did make it more interesting. Even though the decision was unpopular, I will say it did make it more interesting. And I mean, the Guns are currently one of the if I remember correctly, they're one of the top heel tag teams as of this recording. And the Acclaimed are still chasing those titles. Or no, I think the Acclaimed at the moment of this recording, I think they're the Trios champion. I could be wrong. Both of these tag teams have been doing pretty well for themselves. And quite frankly, it was a good show overall. Now, I would talk about Collision, but I don't remember much from that show. I mean, I do remember not Sal. It was Q and Murr pretty much getting power bombed into a table. Jungle Boy had a match, and then I think there was another match there was another moment between Danhausen, Orange Cassidy, a different tag team, and the Acclaimed. They had a moment, and it was pretty kick-ass. And Billy Gunn got to say the famous DX line of "suck it," which, by the way, iconic as fuck, especially for someone that grew up watching someone like DX. The show was incredible, and every single one of us, my parents and my friends, were all so happy. We went home happy because it was a really fun and entertaining show. And I ain't gonna lie to you, not that I hate myself for this, but I had an opportunity to get a picture with Chris Jericho or say hi to Chris Jericho, and I was... Alright, hold up a second. Before I continue this part, I gotta address some things. Now, the first time I recorded this, the allegations of Chris Jericho and what he did not come to light. So, I will have to say, based on what I know now, I have a different opinion on that guy. Yeah, Chris Jericho. So, now I will say, though, that because of this situation, I feel like I should also say that what I expressed in the first video, well, now it doesn't exist anymore, pretty much. But if I were to meet another pro wrestler in the street or after the show, or, you know, they pass by me, I'd probably get starstruck and be like, holy shit! Like, imagine if it's like MJF or something. Like, it'd be crazy. I'd probably be very starstruck if I ended up seeing someone like MJF, or Darby Allin, or Sting, or John Cena, or Taizawa, like, or LA Knight even. Like, I think I'd be very starstruck and would actually attempt to try to get a photo with them. I won't get them to sign anything, because let's be honest, right? They go through a lot already. We don't need them to struggle through it a lot. So, Chris Jericho, what happened, man? You've disappointed the wrestling community. And, well, like, Young Gravy once said, fuck you. Oh, it's Stone Cold said that too. So yeah, I hope one day I do get to meet a wrestler, somewhere in public. You know, it'd be kind of dope to, get a picture with one of these wrestlers and tell them, hey, like, oh, you made my childhood, or like, oh, I like how you did those sick moves, and Jesus Christ, how the fuck do you get so fucked? Okay, too much, but yeah, the show was incredible, and it kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Emphasized, or is that the word I'm looking for? No, I think the word I'm looking for is more so reassured. It reassured me that I still had that love for watching professional wrestling. I still had that love for watching WWE, AEW, ROH. I started to watch a little bit of New Japan, and other wrestling. Oh, MLW, Rev Pro. Like, there's so many other wrestling promotions out there that you guys should definitely check out, because, quite frankly, they're all incredible in their own way. They have their own unique storylines and whatnot. They have their own characters. Oh, even DPW, this recent one that came out, they've been doing good too. And let me tell you, it's just incredible to watch all these different shows practically just come together and kick ass, and kind of show that passion, that love for the wrestling industry. I mean, everybody has their cup of tea and whatnot, but let me tell you, it's all about just enjoying the moment, watching these humans practically do pretty much death-defying stunts, dangerous stunts, right in front of us. No second chances, no second takes, no stopping the match and letting them, adjust themselves just right. It's just everything on the fly, and quite frankly, I'm quite appreciative of that. So, how has this kind of amplified why I love wrestling? I think it's just the escapism of it all. Being so intrigued into watching characters and actual people evolve with us, because we see a reflection, at some case, right? We see a reflection of what we want to be, or who we are in these wrestlers. And regardless if you love to cheer the good guy, you like to cheer the bad guy, you like it when the wrestlers play dirty, you love the dirty tactics, you love the clean shaven face of the good guy, the Superman looking guy, the guy who gets down and dirty to take care of business. There's a little bit of everything for everyone. And year in and year out, it just seems to get better. I mean, right now, we had some big collaborations with big companies. I mean, we had AEW literally collab with New Japan Pro Wrestling. As of this recording, we currently have talks of WWE working with another big Japan wrestling promotion, NJPW, I think it's called. All Japan Pro Wrestling, I think that's what it's called. And it's just incredible that it's all evolving, and, that there's more to all this, So, pretty much, rather you like the small stuff, where you like the underdog taking over and win the big prize, or you like the dirty heel who practically holds on to the title with any means necessary, or you like someone to finally finish their story, or you like the guy that's been grinding for years and is underappreciated,
just to see the opportunity for them to finally reach the top of the mountain. Sometimes we don't know what's gonna happen, but I think that's what makes it so good. It's unpredictable. And with many more wrestlers coming in and out, and new superstars are created each day, I guess that's why I love wrestling, because it makes us care. It makes us show an appreciation that not many other people have. And it gives us a sense of hope, gives us a sense of entertainment and escapism. Like I mentioned earlier, I guess that's why I love wrestling. Oh, and another one! Anyhow, hey, well, just before I end it, I wanted to say thank you for watching. If you want to see more of this, let me know, because I did have fun creating this, and even though it took a while to actually put it all together, it was really fun. So, if you did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, share with a friend, and have a happy holidays. Enjoy your time with family and with everybody, and have a wonderful, wonderful time. Bye-bye. Thank you.